Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News, where we're looking at the life and times of J Jayalalitha as, of course, the state prepares for her last rites that are to take place later this evening. I'm Tracy Shilchi and here are the headlines. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha passes away following a massive cardiac arrest. Last rites to be performed in the evening today. Body has been kept at Rajya Hall for people to pay their last respects. O. Selvam has been sworn in as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. 7-day state mourning announced. December 6th declared public holiday by the state government. Leaders cutting across political divide pay glowing tributes to the late Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. President, Vice President, Prime Minister Sonia Gandhi and Karunanidhi term her loss as irreparable while the Prime Minister leaves for Chennai. "61 Rajya Sabha MPs move petition seeking impeachment proceedings against a judge of the Andhra Pradesh Telangana High Court alleging atrocities against a Dalit judicial officer." And Russia and China veto draft resolution at the UN Security Council calling for a 7-day ceasefire in Syria's embattled city of Aleppo. Resolution was to allow unimpeded access of aid. Emotions are running high across Tamil Nadu as lakhs of supporters of the late J Jayalalitha are scrambling to get a last chance to see her. She passed away at the Apollo Hospital in Chennai at 11:30 p.m. on Monday night after suffering a massive cardiac arrest. Her last rites will be held this evening at about 4:30 p.m. Her mortal remains, meanwhile, have been kept at the Rajya Hall in Chennai for people to pay their last respects. The President, Prime Minister and Congress Vice President will be paying their last respects in Chennai.
Inconsolable AIADMK supporters outside Apollo Hospital in Chennai reacting to the news of the passing away of J Jayalalitha. The 68-year-old leader suffered a massive cardiac arrest on Sunday evening and passed away at 11:30 p.m. on Monday night. Apollo Hospital released a statement announcing her death after a 75-day battle against illness. She was hospitalized on September 22 following complaints of fever and dehydration, but she never fully recovered. Jayalalitha's body was taken to her post-garden residence before being taken to Rajya Hall. Her body has been kept there for people to pay their last respects. Her last rites are slated to be performed at 4:30 p.m. today. At the Raj Bhavan, a somber ceremony was held where Jayalalitha loyalist O. Selvam was sworn in as the new Chief Minister, along with all ministers of the erstwhile cabinet. Governor Vidyasagar Rao paid rich tributes to Jayalalitha.
Affectionately called as Amma, she was an embodiment of women's empowerment and filled with indefatigable spirit. She was known for her noble qualities and sacrificed her life for the cause of the poor and downtrodden.
The Tamil Nadu government has declared 6th December 2016 as a public holiday under the Negotiable Instrument Act as a mark of respect to Jayalalitha. The state government has also announced a 7-day state mourning from today. During the period, the national flag on all government buildings will be flown at half-mast. No official entertainment will also be held during this period. The government has also declared a 3-day holiday for all educational institutions in the state. The neighboring Union Territory of Puducherry has also announced a holiday for all government offices and educational institutions today as a mark of respect to Jayalalitha. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And as people mourn the loss of their beloved Amma, political leaders too paid glowing tributes to one of the country's most popular leaders, calling her the Iron Lady of Indian politics.
President Pranab Mukherjee, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and leaders cutting across political parties paid rich tributes to Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha, who passed away on Monday night. President Pranab Mukherjee expressed grief at the passing away of the stalwart of Tamil Nadu politics. Vice President Muhammad Hamid Ansari condoled her death, saying Jayalalitha's demise is an irreparable loss to the people of India. The Vice President hailed her contributions in the development of Tamil Nadu and its people. In a series of tweets, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that her connect with citizens and her concern for the welfare of poor and marginalized will be a source of inspiration. In a statement, Congress President Sonia Gandhi hailed her as a towering figure in national and political life who lived her life with same indomitable courage with which she battled her last illness. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi expressed grief over Jaya's death and tweeted that the people have lost a great leader.
She has become a household name in the state of Tamil Nadu because of her pro-people and pro-poor initiatives. She is a great orator and also a great administrator. She will go down in the history as a real revolutionary leader. Here people call her fondly as a Purachi Talaivi. But even otherwise also, I personally consider that she has really brought a revolution in the politics. Coming from an ordinary background,
Jayalalitha is no more with us. She was representative of a very powerful and a very strong politics. The way she had served the people of Tamil Nadu, the way she had worked for the people of Tamil Nadu will always be remembered for years to come.
Entire nation is shocked and deeply saddened by the sad demise of Tamil Nadu CM Miss J Jayalalitha. She was a person of indomitable spirit, fearless courage, and an innate determination to do what she had decided to do. She faced many political and personal challenges, but rose up to the occasion to win each one of them.
She had a tremendous ability to understand the pulse of her people, and she served the people of Tamil Nadu in the way that only she could.
फिल्म अभिनय से निकलकर आया हुआ कोई व्यक्ति वहां की गरीब जनता को इतने लंबे समय तक प्रभावित कर सकता है, अचंभित कर सकता है, उसका नेतृत्व कर सकता है, उसकी जीती जागती मिसाल जयललिता जी हैं.
I had personal contact with her as her lawyer, and I found her to be most erudite, extremely sophisticated, and an excellent communicator.
She created her own brand Amma politics, that which connects to the poor, and this time the Tamil Nadu seesaw, once DMK, once ADMK, this time she broke that, and like MGR, she won continuously for the second term.
The passing of Dr. J Jayalalitha is a great tragedy and a great loss, not just to Tamil Nadu but for the country. Her immense popularity was translated by her into governance which has led behind tangible results.
Pro-poor program देने में वो बहुत ही यशस्वी रही और मैं ये चाहता हूँ कि उनके जो प्रोग्राम है वो कंटिन्यू रहे उनके याद में.
Jayalalitha's arch-rival and DMK Supremo M. Karunanidhi offered his heartfelt condolences at her loss. He said the wishes of lakhs of her followers will make her immortal. DMK leader M.K. Stalin also mourned Jaya's death, calling her an iconic and courageous leader. In a series of tweets, he termed her death as an irreparable loss. Paying tributes to Jayalalitha, Home Minister Rajnath Singh appealed to the people of Tamil Nadu to remain calm. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar termed her demise as sad and declared a one-day mourning in the state. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee also tweeted, terming the death of Jayalalitha as a big loss. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and Rajasthan Chief Minister Vasundhara Raje also expressed grief over the demise of Jayalalitha.
And we are speaking to journalists and, of course, political leaders through this morning to get a sense of really what kind of an impact is she leaving in the sphere of politics, not just in Tamil Nadu, but of course across India as well. We've got Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, Senior Associate Editor with The Frontline, joining us, of course, from the capital. And we also have on the phone line Senior Congress leader Manishankar Iyer as well, joining us at the moment. Mr. Iyer, if I could come to you first, what really would be your lasting impression of Jayalalitha?
Well, there was an expectation in some circles that Jayalalitha's end would also mark the end of the AIADMK. But I simply do not believe that that is the case. There is no doubt that Jayalalitha as leader of any political party is irreplaceable. The kind of place that she had secured in the hearts of the Tamil people is one that cannot be replicated. She was able to take MGR's position, but I doubt that there's anybody else who could take the kind of position that MGR and Jayalalitha were able to take. Nevertheless, they had left behind a party with very firm roots, which has got cadres all over the state, down to every village in the state, and they have an army of followers who will remain with them. So I would imagine that the position of the ADMK today is a bit like the position of the Congress in the immediate aftermath of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's death, when there was no clear successor, but a process was initiated by which a successor of the stature of Lal Bahadur Shastri was found, and subsequently Indira Gandhi. And in a similar way, I would imagine that the AIADMK, which has the advantage that it has another 4.5 years of power in the state assembly, will be able to work out who will be their leader in government, and perhaps somebody else as the leader of the party. I don't know whether this will happen immediately or not, for let us not forget that Indira Gandhi, after the death of her father, was not willing to come into politics immediately, and it was not till about 1.5 years later that she agreed to join Lal Bahadur's cabinet. So in a similar way, I think eventually there is going to be a situation where Paneerselvam will lead the government and perhaps Shashikala will lead the party. But that is a projection based upon present realities, and we'll have to see how things evolve over the course of the next several months. But I do not think the ADMK will wither away or that it will split. I think it will remain as a force in Tamil Nadu politics, but of course without the huge advantage in popular opinion that Jayalalitha was able to secure for them.
And talking about Jayalalitha, how was she as an ally? How do you remember her as an ally? Because, as journalists, as political observers would put it, she was unpredictable, but she was definitely indispensable as a coalition partner. How would you remember her?
I remember her as not only an ally, but also as a very determined opponent. Because although we were allied in the elections in 1991, which we won overwhelmingly, and in 1996, when we were overwhelmingly defeated, she was not an easy person to work with. She was prickly as a porcupine, and she was absolutely unwilling to stand for any kind of criticism. So although back in 1991, she stood like a rock behind me and was largely responsible for my winning my first election by a margin of 1.5 lakh votes, when I started criticizing her government in my columns, she turned rather viciously against me. And in 1996, although our parties were allied, she instructed the leader of her party in the constituency to inform me that they would not be campaigning with me, which I welcomed because I knew that she was going to be a huge liability. And in the event, of course, I lost, but so did she lose, not only in the parliament and the assembly, but she even lost her own seat. But the woman had tremendous grit and determination and enormous self-confidence. So even in the worst of defeat, she knew that she would come back, and her struggle to start climbing the mountain began the moment she hit the floor of the valley.
All right.
And accordingly,
yes,
it is not surprising that by 1999, she had considerably retrieved her position. Indeed,
Absolutely,
by
absolutely. And we're
1998
seeing, of course, the kind of hysteria, we're kind of seeing those charged emotions that we're seeing, of course, leading up to today, when, of course, we're, a final bidding adieu finally to Jayalalitha. Thanks so much, Mr. Iyer, for joining us, giving us an, idea of what she was as a political ally, or for that matter, as a political opponent as well. Venkatesh Ramakrishnan still with us of the front line. Venkatesh, as we're seeing at the moment, the kind of reactions we're seeing across Tamil Nadu, not unusual. This is something that, of course, the party and the state law and order were preparing themselves for. But talking about the party in general, talking about Jayalalitha, what makes Amma, what makes a person like Amma work?
Well, I think there are several factors to it. There is not one single factor that we can attribute this to. In the first place, there is a larger Dravidian political context which has this mode of iconic worship. I mean, you have Annadurai, you had M.G. Ramachandran. Even Karunanidhi, to a large extent, is a kind of political icon. The iconic worship element is part and parcel of the Dravidian politics. That's one aspect. But having said that, I think both MGR and Jayalalitha took this iconic worship to a new level. They created a unique image which is completely unparalleled. I think that is what we have to think about. What the greatest contribution from both MGR and Amma, as far as the Dravidian political image history is concerned, I think they created images, unparalleled images, which have not been replicated by anyone else. That's one aspect. The other two aspects is that having moved from the celluloid to the political framework, Jayalalitha was very quick to adapt herself to the political system, and she was second to none when it came to political machinations or political maneuverings. And she had also a tremendous understanding, just like her mentor M.G. Ramachandran, and like the erstwhile veteran Tamil leader K. Kamaraj of the Congress. She had a tremendous sense to grasp the pulse of the people and understand what they would want at any given point of time, in any given context of time, and come up with mass welfare programs which benefited the large number of masses. The third thing was, she went through a historical period where the politics of this country was moving away primarily from the mass welfare parameter to something which had liberalization and globalization in the economy. And I suppose it's a credit to her great administrative skill that she was able to adapt to that system as well, and at the same time take her mass welfare programs to keep her popularity high.
All right. We'll leave it there. So much for joining us, of course. For the moment, we'll continue coming to you through the day, of course, to get us more updates really on what is it that really makes a leader like Amma, and what kind of a legacy would she be leaving. Thanks so much, of course, for joining us for the moment. Well, she was, of course, 6-time Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and fondly called Amma by her followers and supporters. Nothing less than a demigod, really, for them. Also, despite numerous controversies surrounding her, she long enjoyed a cult-like following in Tamil Nadu. So here's a look at her journey through the years.
Born on 24th February 1948 in a Tamil Iyengar family, Selvi Jayalalitha Jayaram had a very colourful yet controversial life. From acting to politics, she saw several ups and downs in her life. Forced to get into acting at the age of 15 due to poverty, Jayalalitha went on to become a prominent figure in Tamil cinema since her debut with Vennira Adai in 1965. Her versatile acting and expertise in various forms of classical dance made her a celebrated icon in South Indian cinema. She acted in as many as 140 films including Tamil, Telugu and Kannada. Her prolific acting eventually won her the title of the Queen of Tamil cinema. She acted in an English film titled Epistle that released in 1961. The film was produced by Shankar Giri, son of former President of India Dr. V.V. Giri. After over a decade-long career in cinema, Jayalalitha turned to politics in the early 1980s. Many believe her political career began because of Tamil superstar and former State Chief Minister M.G. Ramachandran, since she had acted in several movies with him. However, the six-time Tamil Nadu Chief Minister maintained the decision to enter politics was her own. The turning point came for Jayalalitha after MGR's death in 1987. In 1991, following the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi in Tamil Nadu, her alliance with the Congress party propelled the coalition to a massive victory. She became the first elected woman Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, serving the full tenure. Since then, Jayalalitha ruled the state politics, steadfastly wooed for support by various coalitions at the centre in the past 10 years. Her rule saw Tamil Nadu unrolling some of the best health programs. Even as her popularity grew among the masses, so did the controversies over abuse of power and corruption. This led to her defeat in 1996 and later conviction and arrest in multiple corruption cases. Until 2010, Jayalalitha saw several upheavals, but she remained resilient and made a comeback, being elected the Chief Minister 3 more times during the span. In 2014, the AIADMK chief was convicted once again in a disproportionate assets case. A year later, she was finally acquitted and resumed her position as the state head till her hospitalization on September 22nd.
On to other news now, and a united opposition continued to corner the government in Rajya Sabha on Monday over the demonetization and sought to know if financial emergency has been imposed in the country. The opposition claimed that the employees and the pensioners are facing acute hardships due to cash crunch. The government, however, insisted on resuming the discussion on demonetization. The standoff washed away the proceedings of the House for the 13th day in a row.
The government's decision to demonetize high-value currency notes continues to face tough resistance from the opposition in the upper house. Upping the ante against the government, leader of opposition Ghulam Nabi Azad alleged that government employees and pensioners were not getting their salaries. Azad also stressed that ATM machines even inside the Parliament complex were out of order.
जो ATM है, लाइब्रेरी के अंदर ATM है, इस हमारे दरवाजे के बाहर ATM है, ये तो खराब ही रहते हैं। खराब इसलिए रखे गए हैं ताकि पैसा न देना पड़े। आपके लाइब्रेरी में वहां पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है, तो जब पार्लियामेंट के अंदर पैसा नहीं मिल रहा है, पार्लियामेंट के अंदर ATM नहीं चल रहा है, तो हम कैसे अपेक्षा करेंगे कि भारत के गांव और छोटे और बड़े कस्बों में पैसा मिल रहा है। सर, ये तो फाइनेंशियल इमरजेंसी जैसे लग गई है इस देश में।
CPM Sitaram Yechuri and SPs Naresh Agarwal were quick to back the leader of opposition and slammed the government for allegedly adding to the woes of the common man.
I raised the issue. You please ask them to respond. I raised that issue. But ask government to reply. महीने का पहला सप्ताह पे डे होता है। पे वीक। पूरे देश में कर्मचारियों को कहीं तनख्वाह नहीं मिल रही है, पेंशन वालों को पेंशन नहीं मिल रही है। एक तरीके से एनार्की मची हुई है और सरकार जानबूझ के इसको की है।
Refuting all allegations, Union Minister Venkaiah Naidu claimed that the opposition was bereft of any real issues, even as he stressed on resuming the discussion on demonetization. Naidu also underscored the need to debate and discuss pending legislations.
महत्वपूर्ण विषय है। एक विधायक मंत्री जी हैं। Permit me to say something. Yes, I am. Yeah, please. All right. Okay, to the United Nations Convention of Rights and the Persons with Disabilities on matters for connectivity.
The opposition, however, refused to relent, and members of the Congress, SP, TMC and BSP marched into the well of the House. 0 hour and question hour were both paralysed. As the opposition escalated the offensive against the government, the chair adjourned the House till 2 p.m. There was no respite even in the post-lunch session as the opposition continued its tirade against the government. As the war of words continued, the chair adjourned the House till Tuesday. With inputs from Vishal Dhaya, Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, over 60 Rajya Sabha members have moved a petition seeking impeachment proceedings against a judge of the Andhra Pradesh Telangana High Court alleging atrocities against a Dalit judicial officer. The Rajya Sabha Secretariat confirmed receiving the petition from 61 MPs and said a decision on its validity will be taken in the next 2 days after examining the matter. The petition, mainly signed by TDP and left MPs, alleged that Justice C.V. Nagarjuna Reddy committed atrocities against a Dalit principal junior civil judge in Kadapa district to allegedly put pressure on him in a criminal case. As per provisions of the Judges Inquiry Act of 1968, if the motion is admitted, the Speaker of Lok Sabha or the Chairman constitutes an investigation committee consisting of 3 members, including 2 judges. 100 members of the Lok Sabha or 50 members of Rajya Sabha have to sign the petition of impeachment. And in a quick international news update, Russia and China have vetoed a draft resolution at the UN Security Council that called for a 7-day ceasefire in Syria's embattled city of Aleppo. It was the 6th time Russia has vetoed a Security Council resolution on Syria since the conflict started in 2011, and the 5th time that China has blocked action. Both Russia and China voted against the draft submitted jointly by Egypt, New Zealand and Spain. Venezuela also voted no, while Angola abstained. The other 11 UN Security Council members backed the resolution. The document called for the ceasefire to allow the unimpeded access of aid to Aleppo. Russia said that the document infringed the Council rule allowing countries 24 hours to consider the final wording, while the US dismissed it as a made-up alibi, saying that Russia wanted to preserve the recent military gains by Syrian government troops in Aleppo. Russia's UN envoy Vitaly Churkin said that the draft had not been given the traditional 24 hours for it to be analyzed. He added that the vote should have been postponed until a meeting of Russian and US expats on Tuesday or Wednesday in Geneva. And that's all we have for you on the Breakfast News. Thanks for joining us.